it was just to the fact really that me and Johnny weren't getting on. Really, there was just a personality clash, I think, and that really became evident in that British tour around October, and it was just a pretty horrible atmosphere, to be honest. Between every time I saw Johnny, I was treated pretty badly. You just felt like there was a lot of snide comments going on, really, and it just made me feel really uncomfortable. And at that time, anyway, I was quite shy, and I might have come across as being aloof or whatever, but I just couldn't handle being treated like that, really. So I never spoke to Johnny and said, come on, let's chat about this and sort it out, and I'd probably just go back to my room and just want to be on my own for a while. And it just got to the point where it was just horrible being in the same room, really, because you could just tell that there was a big atmosphere, and things were being spoken about you. I mean, from Johnny, that was the only person that I had a problem with at that point. So it just felt really horrible, and that made me not want to play at all. I mean, I wasn't refusing to play or anything like that, but looking back, I was probably quite moody then, and that probably just made things worse as well, because Johnny was totally moody. We were just in the mood with each other, and when you're feeling like that in a band, you the last thing you want to do is play with them, really, and get into it. So I thought, this isn't right. It's I shouldn't be. For a start, I don't want to put any bad feelings over. It's their band as well. I don't want to just come into this band and after a few months start getting moody. But at the same time, I thought, I'm not being treated like this. So that was sort of it, really. I was feeling, I thought, well, Johnny's going to say any time, really, that you should go, and we don't want you to play anymore, just because of the personality clash, really. And I never did hear that from Johnny at all. The way I found out that I wasn't in the Smiths anymore is because a friend of mine was in a band called Easterhouse. He was signed to Rough Trade, and he just rang me up one day and said, Craig, I don't think you're in the Smiths anymore. And I thought, well, I'd started hearing a few stories about how people are told that they're not playing with working with the Smiths in what way, one way or another. So my mate just said, I don't think you're in the Smiths anymore. And I just thought, well, it's typical, but I was pretty pleased, to be honest. And I've said in the past, I don't think I would have left the band, really. Maybe I would a few months later, but it was just a relief that I wasn't in the Smiths, because I wasn't going to be treated like that any longer by Johnny. We could have had it out, spoken about it, smoothed things over, but it's obviously he didn't want to be friends anyway. So that was it, yeah. And I never did hear from Johnny or anyone, really, that sorry, it's sorry it's not worked out. So it was a great way of finding out you're not in a band anymore from your best mate. I've read a lot in the last few years that it's happened quite a bit, in the same way. I think 6 months previous to that, Andy had left the band, but no one had told him. I think he got a ticket on his car saying, "You've left the Smiths." So Andy had told me about that at the time. So it was, I thought, oh well. To be honest, I'd really had enough of it by that point, and I just wanted to just sort of forget about it, really. Just because it had left a bad taste in my mouth, really, about the way Johnny was with me, and there was no need for it. It was just pretty childish, and yeah, I did think it was a really, really bad way to find out you're out of a band, but at the same time, I just thought, I'll just go on and do my next thing, forget about it, really. And I thought at that time as well, I'm not going to start slagging anyone off, go to the press or anything like that. I did a couple of interviews with the press, but you know, I wasn't going to start speaking about people the way they started speaking about me later on, really. Until it got too much, then I had to speak my mind, really. Put my side of the story across.